What's up, everyone? My name is Zach Balling. I'm the director and physical therapist at Therapeutic Associates Northside Physical Therapy here in North Spokane. Super excited to introduce today a strength and conditioning program my colleagues and I have been working on. It's a 6-week return to sport program. We have been getting a lot of questions, some requests from patients, former patients, parents, some of our young athletes on stuff they can be doing right now to take advantage of this time before they're able to get out and start playing sports again, which will hopefully be sometime soon. So we developed this program thinking you probably don't have a lot of space, you probably don't have a lot of equipment at home, gyms aren't open yet, and really it's designed to be a progressive program. So week 1 is going to be a lot easier than week 6 is. Week 1 starts with some foundational strength, some flexibility, some balance, control, progressing through each week to finally at week 6, week 5 and 6, you're going to get into more sport specific, plyometric, multi-plane, multi-angle, really more power type exercises to get you ready to get back on the court or the field. A little bit about how we developed this program. We took knowledge from past courses, ACL prevention courses, continuing education courses we've all taken, strength and conditioning courses. We even borrowed some from our good friends, Therapeutic Associates, PACE, over in Portland. They put together an awesome running program. If you haven't checked that out, I would strongly recommend it. And even just in our everyday rehabbing athletes, we've put a lot of that into this program and the stuff we commonly see with these athletes in preparing them to get back into their sport. So hope you guys have fun with it. Give us feedback, let us know what you think, and enjoy. Week 1 starts now. All right, welcome to week 1 of our return to sport strength and conditioning program. Here with Chelsea Vetter, Division I soccer player, still
washed up now.
still working to stay strong. She's going to be demonstrating all these for you. A few pieces of equipment we'll want you to have for this. You'll need some sort of band. We're just going to loop it for this first round. Preferably medium resistance. If you have a couple bands, a medium and a high resistance would be great. You also need some sort of slider. Now you can use a couple things for this. You can use a Tupperware lid. If you're on hardwood, you can just use a towel under your shoe. And then some sort of ball, if you have one lying around. There's a lot of things you could use for this too. Carton of milk, anything. Water bottle.
Cone.
So we're gonna give you some reps as we go through this. Feel free to modify for what you need. You do want to feel like you're getting a good burn in these muscles, but if you're getting any sort of pain or discomfort, back off a little bit. The idea is quality of the movement rather than just powering through as many reps as you can. All right, welcome everybody. This is our dynamic mobility routine. This is what we're going to use before each week to basically prep the body for the workouts we're going to do. You'll notice it's a series of active movements. Basically, no static stretching, and we'll talk about why that is. So we're going to start here with a knee to chest. Chelsea's going to stay up nice and tall as she's doing this. She's not bringing her chest towards her knee. That core is engaged. She's pulling that knee up. Notice how tall she's staying. Try not to fold. 5 each side there. Now we're going to go into a figure 4 stretch. Starting to open up the hips a little bit. Again, that nice tall posture. Try not to fold down as you're doing this. Go a little slower. There we go. Now we're going to go into our heel pull. Starting to open up the quad. Just about a 2 or 3 second hold here. We're not holding a long stretch. That isn't great for prepping the body for sport-specific maneuvers. Again, she's nice and tall. She's trying not to lean either way. She wants to keep those knees fairly close together. She pulls that knee back, pulls that heel back. Okay, let's go into our crossover stretch. So one foot in front of the other. Just gonna feel this anywhere from glute down to the toes on the back side there. So as she goes down, she's reaching slightly across to really open up the right side on that side and the left side on that side. You'll feel the leg and back. We'll do about 5 of these each direction. Okay, then we're going to move into a lunge and reach. So as she steps forward, she's reaching that opposite hand up, trying to open up that entire side of the body. So here that left side's opening up, really reach as tall as you can. You'll feel this hip flexor through your core. Couple more each side. Reach as high as you can. Okay. We're going toe pulls. So this one, she's reaching down, she's going to stretch the hamstring, and then she's actually going to come up and lengthen the entire body. So we're actually flossing out the nervous system with this one too. And just getting that entire body prepped for the movements we're about to do. One more each side. Then we're going to go into our side to sides. Okay, so it's basically a side lunge. Good. And you're going to feel this through the insides of the thigh. Going 5 each direction. Again, it's just a 2 or 3 second pause with each of these. Okay, inchworms, Chelsea's favorite.
Oh.
Good. So she's reaching down, she gets that hamstring stretch, and then she's going to slowly walk her hands out and then walk them back. Gets that core activated too, a little bit of shoulder stability. Two more? One more?
One more. Nice try.
Okay, open books next. So she's going to be lying on her side. She's going to bend both legs up into this 90-degree position, arms out in front of her, and then she's going to open back. We just heard a little pop in the back.
Oh, great.
The key with this is she's trying to keep this top hip forward. So she's going to keep that top knee just in front of her bottom knee so we don't move as much from the hip. We're trying to open up her back here. You can do this against the wall too if it helps to just stabilize you. You should feel a good stretch anywhere in that spine that's tight. We'll do 5 that way, so legs up to 90 degrees. Hands out in front. A little tight on this side. And you'll notice some differences side to side. It's kind of good to take note of that. You'll start to notice a pattern, maybe of weakness, maybe of tightness. And those are really where we want to focus our energy with some of these workout routines. Okay, let's go into spine rotations. So this one, she's in an all-fours position. She's going to take that right elbow down towards her other elbow, and then she's trying to open up through her chest as much as she can, get that elbow pointed to the sky if she can. You'll feel this a little more in the upper back. Try not to lock out that right elbow.
Not moving as much.
Yep. So get a little tight on one side. All right, and then we're going into quad pull. So again, lying on her side. Her bottom leg's bent up in front, and then she's taking her right heel and coming back. So she's gonna feel this through the front of the thigh, through that hip flexor. You want to be careful with this one, especially that when you're pulling that leg back, you're not going into a big arch in that low back. You want to kind of keep your core engaged with this. Get to that point where you feel a really good stretch through the front, and then ease back out of it. If you're pulling so far that you're just arching your back, back off a little bit. Set that core and just get to a point where you don't feel that. All right, good.
Ready to go.
Warm-up's over. Let's get to the workout. So we're going to start this first one with what we call some foundational strength and endurance exercises. So these really tackle some of the most important foundational muscles that help protect you against injury and increase performance. So the first one I'm going to have Chelsea do is called a clamshell. She's going to be lying on her side. She's got her band around the knees, just above the knees. She wants her hips stacked on each other, shoulders stacked on each other, slight angle in the knees, and she's slowly lifting that top leg up without rolling her whole body back. You should feel this in the glute if you're doing it right. Active through that core.
10.
There's 10, we're going for 20 reps here. Good, you can, she's doing a really good job of keeping her trunk nice and stable. She's not rolling back as she lifts that leg up.
20.
Good. She's keeping her hand here so she can start to notice if she starts rolling back. And you'll feel that. It'll feel like you're just rotating that trunk. Our body does that to cheat, and there's how you're
Don't
not
do that.
supposed to do that. Okay.
Classic me.
20 reps of those. She's probably starting to feel a good burn towards the end. I think this is a good pace too. You don't want to be going out of control. Nice controlled movement for these first exercises.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to move into the reverse clamshell. So we're going to take the band off. Switching back to our other side. So this is basically just the reverse of what she just did. She's going to separate the knees a little bit. And now she's bringing that foot up. So she's just spinning through that hip joint, trying to keep that distance between her knees the same the whole time. Active through that core, that trunk's nice and stable. So she's just sensing with her hand what's going on. She's not actually holding herself in place. She's using her core muscles to do that. These are a tough one. 20 reps again. We're getting close.
That's it.
We'll switch sides here. Get it set up so that slight space between the knees, that you try to stay the same the whole time. Good. Feel this burn in a similar place, kind of right around that hip glute area. She's starting to feel it. You can see it in her face there.
It's a good
20 reps. Okay. Now we're going to move into what we call a fire hydrant exercise. So this ties some core stability in again. You'll start to sense a theme here, that just about everything is a core exercise. So she's got this nice tabletop position, neutral spine position, and she's going to take one leg and she's going straight out to the side. Now the tendency when you do that will be to rotate that whole trunk. Do a couple poorly there. So we don't want this. You want to be active through that core. Keep this nice and stable as that leg comes out. Picture setting a glass of water or a hot cup of coffee. That'll really keep you motivated to keep that still. Again, we're going to go for 20 reps here. Just doing a good job. Try not to lock out the elbows.
Starting to rotate.
Starting to rotate. She gets a little fatigued at the end and starts moving that trunk. That's okay. Don't worry about how far you're going with this. It's not about how far the leg goes out. It's all about this control through here. And you'll actually feel this almost more on the leg that's down than the one that's moving. You can see towards the end she's starting to get a little rotation. Keep that a little more still. Really engage that core. Almost at 20. Good. Okay. Let's go into single leg bridge. So she's on her back, core's engaged. She's going to bring this leg up to 90 degrees. And we're just going to slow, controlled movement up and down. Trying to keep the hips flat. So if you put a level on your hip bones, it would stay nice and level. She's not rotating as she comes up. Driving through that left heel, using that left glute to pick you up.
That was 10 reps.
We'll switch sides. You do not want to feel this in your low back. If you start to feel it in your low back, it's usually because you're arching up, you're losing that core control, or there's a little bit too much load. Well, on the second set, Chelsea will show you a little modification if this is too difficult right now. So she's going to go back to the double leg. Same idea. Her spine position shouldn't change with this. This isn't a yoga move where we're trying to get as much extension as possible. We're trying to keep that core stiff and stable and work off of it. If that's too easy, she can add just a little marching as she comes up. And again, avoiding any hip drop either side so they stay nice and level. And I bet both of us lost count. So we're working towards 20 reps. That kind of works us into some of that endurance range. Now again, feel free to modify. If 20 is really easy, maybe bump it up to 30. Good, okay. Moving into side plank. So we're gonna do a couple different variations here. Chelsea's gonna show you the modified version first. We're gonna time this one for 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So we want her elbow directly under her shoulder. She's really active through that core again. Nice straight line from her ears down to her knees. So her knees don't come out in front of her. We don't want this V position. So she's nice and straight this whole time. Carefully, again, you don't want to go into that arch position to create stability. Make sure we're breathing. Good, and that's one side, so we'll switch. So set it up, nice straight line. You'll feel this in the bottom, core, hip. Also shoulder stability exercise. And breathing. Always breathing. Okay, so for this second round, she's going to make it a little bit harder. Same principles. We want those nice straight lines. Now she's going to go from her feet. So her feet are stacked on top of each other. That elbow's underneath the shoulder. Nice straight lines through the whole body.
Should have done this one first.
Probably should have done this one first. We might get a little shaken.
This is my face.
Good. 30 seconds. All right. Switch sides. One more. Good. And breathe in, especially during some of these plank or core exercises. We all have that tendency to hold the breath to create stability. You want the muscles to create the stability, not air pressure. As soon as you let that air pressure go, you don't have any stiffness through that core. Okay, so that's the end of the kind of foundational activation strength. We're going to move into a little more dynamic strengthening exercises. So Chelsea's going to grab her band here.
Stronger this time.
A little bit more resistance in this band, if you have it. We're going to do a squat with the band just above the knees. So she's going to go nice, slow, controlled movement. She's sitting the hips back, making sure her knees aren't going past her toes, still active through that core. We don't want her to lose that spine angle as she comes down, so she's not arching up, she's staying active through that trunk. She gets a little push into the bands, that helps keep the glutes active. The other thing that's doing is it's training her to not let the knees collapse together. What we don't want to see is that medial collapse of that knee. That's how we see a lot of injuries, especially on the soccer field. Or jumping, landing, playing basketball, court sports. Did we count?
19, 20.
Good. Okay, then we're gonna go into the squat with a side step. So similar position, maybe not quite as deep as what she was just doing. Keeping that tension in the band. So you'll feel this significantly through those glutes. And again, she's really working to keep those knees from collapsing together. Do a couple like we don't want, Chelsea, where those knees start to collapse in. So you can see, when that happens, you put a tremendous amount of strain on that inside of the knee. You're also getting rotation in the joint, which can lead to injury. Are we doing 20 reps of this too? 10
10 rounds.
10 laps. So you do about 3 steps each way. Where are you feeling this, Chelsea? Yeah.
Big time. Quad quads too.
Really important muscle group. Protects that knee. Oh yeah.
8,
Almost there.
maybe.
Alright. So you see you don't need a lot of space to get a pretty good workout. We got Chelsea sweating here.
10.
Breathing hard, heart rate's going up. Okay, so now we're gonna get your slider out. We'll get the mat out of the way. So these are just a furniture slider. You can get them at Home Depot, any hardware store, or like I said, use a Tupperware top, towel under the foot on hardwood floor. So now she's gonna go back into the slider lunge. Now similar principles, we're making sure her knee's not collapsing in as she's going back. She's driving through that whole foot to get herself back up. Quads, glutes, hamstrings all working together to pull her back up. Good. We'll do a few from the side here. Whoa. Glutes are getting a little tired. But especially with fatigue, that's when you gotta really pay attention to these mechanics and be really diligent that you're not letting yourself get sloppy with these positions. Still active through her core, so you can see she's not arching back, she's keeping that good spine angle. Her knee's not going past her toe. We did 10 each side.
Yep. Down 2.
Good. She doesn't have much weight in this back leg. It's just kind of along for the ride to just support a little bit. Really all the work's coming from this stance leg. So if you're feeling it a lot in the one that's sliding, get more weight on that stance leg. Nice work.
10.
Okay, good. We got a couple more here. We're gonna do some lateral step outs. So grab your heavier band if you have it. Your medium resistance will work for this one too. So this is a brutal one to do after everything else she's done. So she's gonna go into that sort of mini squat position. And then what she's doing is she's tapping out to the side. So we call these lateral step outs. Now the tricky part with this one is as she goes out this way, this knee wants to collapse in. So she's really, really active through here to keep herself nice and stable. She also wants to stay as centered as she can through that core.
It's like 11 maybe.
Yeah, 10-ish. Good. Maybe a little more stable on the side.
Oh, you think so? Nice. Tricking you.
We're getting there.
Fatigue's faster though.
Yeah, it gets a little more tired faster. So see as things fatigue, that knee will start to wobble a little bit. She'll start to lean.
This way.
Yeah. You'll also notice that she's not putting any weight in that leg that's tapping out. You're picturing a little baby chicken out there and you're just booping them on the head. That's what we tell our patients. Everybody seems to get that one on the first time. Okay. The burn is real.
This is a brutal one to do towards the end.
Yeah, this one is not easy. She's making it look a lot easier than it is. 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. All right, good. So that's kind of the end of our dynamic strengthening. Now we're gonna work on some balance, and we're working on these last for a reason. So she's a little bit fatigued. This is when injury can happen. If we start getting sloppy and you start losing some of those body mechanics. So this is a little more balance, a little more body mechanics training. We got our soccer ball out. We're gonna do, we call it the runner's touch. So she's gonna hinge forward at that hip, tap the soccer ball, and she's gonna come back up nice and tall. Do maybe a little longer hold at the top there, Chelsea. So see, she has that good tall position. She's not arching back as she comes all the way up. That left leg is working, staying nice and stable.
You can.
Just trying to keep that knee from wobbling around.
If you need another point of contact, you can touch back here with your toe.
Yep. If you need a little help, that back leg can kind of be a kickstand for you to help out. I think we're getting close.
I think that's it.
So we'll do this next one facing the camera. Don't kick a wall, kick a hole in the wall behind us.
How close am I? You good?
Oh, you're good. So we're watching that knee. A little movement is fine, we expect that. But again, we don't want that big collapse in. You don't want to be rolling out. You want to keep that kneecap pointing straight forward. And that takes a lot of control from a lot of groups of muscles, namely that hip.
It's really hard to count.
Good. Switch back. Let's
Round
see how
two.
this left side does. If you feel like you're bending too far, maybe just tap a chair. But we're trying to work through some range here. Again, a seemingly simple exercise, but she's feeling this, especially after everything else she already did. Nice, okay.
I have to do one more set.
So, yeah, we got,
I could have gotten away with it.
could have fooled me.
Yes.
Good, how's her knee looking?
Got a second wind.
Good. Don't be in a rush with these. These are more about control than speed. We'll get into some of the speed stuff as we go through these weeks. Right now we're trying to train that control. Get our body to learn these good positions and be able to control them a little bit more.
Last one.
Okay, awesome. All right, last one. We're gonna get that slider back out. So these are 3-direction slider. I think we're doing 5 laps.
Yep.
So what Chelsea's gonna do is she's gonna try to reach as far as she can control each direction. Now we'll notice that her knee position on this stance leg should stay in that same plane. We don't want it to start following the slider, especially as she goes out to the side. The tendency is for her to want to slide out or follow that slider in, or especially as you go back and she opens up, this knee wants to collapse in.
Which makes it really hard to get back up.
Yes. So again, she's really active through that left side to avoid that. Again, I'd rather you go in a range of motion you can control rather than get so far that you start losing those good mechanics. That's 5 laps. So we'll switch to this right side. doing a good job. As she opens that left hip up, that knee doesn't follow.
Is that 2 or 3? Uh-oh.
Oh, we'll say 2.
That was 3.
3. We'll do 2 more. Where do you feel this, Chels? Everywhere?
A little here, a little there. More on the standing leg,
Yep.
which is what we're looking for.
Yeah, again, that slider leg is just kind of along for the ride. We got one last lap here.
We're doing 1 or 2 rounds.
2 rounds.
Okay.
Then we're done
Sweet.
with week 1. We'll make her go a little slower these next 2. Really
Caught
control
me.
it, really keep this stable. Good, just trying to rush through it a little bit. It's the end of the day here, we're both getting a little hungry. It's 5.
Yeah.
Nice, okay.
Oh, so much sweat.
Last set.
Should open the window
We
next
got a
time.
nice little puddle going. Almost there, I like that speed. Good control through that whole body. So she's tired, but she's forcing herself to still keep things nice and controlled. Especially as you get to the end of these workouts, it's easy to just rush through this stuff. That's where you're gonna get the benefit.
Woo.
All right,
Good stuff,
week
everyone.
1 in the books. Nice work, Chels. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
guys for week 2.